Welcome back to Steve Robb Reviews. Today's review is going to be quite interesting. I'm just going to go over the basics of a new power supply I bought, a DC power supply. Let's take a look how much this thing cost me. There you go right there. Now that I find is not too expensive. It's about making projects that I want to build that maybe a lot of other people don't. I'm going to put a playlist down below, a couple of playlists of my inventions and my electrical testing videos. And a lot of the inspiration I get is, well, if you want to resolve a problem, you have to actually do it yourself most time. And fooling around with electronics and building your own things out of electronics is a great hobby, something that I quite enjoy. It's for everybody. There's no physical limitations to it. You just gotta think and use what's between your ears. So let's go over to the bench here. Let's take a look at the new power supply. And well, technology sure has changed. Let's go over, let's take a look. Okay, so that's the box it came in, and you're gonna see it's quite different than my old power supply. So that's been sitting there for a while there, and there's my meter. And one is showing 14.5, and this is just bumping up a bit back and forth between 14.5 and 14.6, and that's plenty accurate enough for me. Now, this particular power supply has an extra readout, which is watts, where my old power supply does not. This power supply still works. It's fantastic. It's 30 volt, 5 amps. The only reason why I bought this one here, it's 30 volts, 10 amps. Now, this particular unit here, just roughly by weighing it myself, is about maybe 1/5 of the weight of this. This weighs about 6-7 pounds. And this, yeah, I don't know if it weighs 1.5 pounds. But it's an awesome little rig. And we're going to do a little bit of testing on it. And I just want to give a little shout out to a book here that I actually have for many, many years. Practical Electronics for Inventors. And this is a fantastic reference book. If you're ever thinking about getting into electronics, and it's a great hobby. You know, like there's a lot of people, you know, need a hobby. And, you know, this one here I find is quite fascinating. And it doesn't cost a lot of money. I guarantee you, if you're going out for a day golfing, you'll spend more than what you got right here in electronics. So let's just do a little bit of testing. And it does come with a set of leads. I thought that was great. And I usually have my own leads anyways. But let's just do a little bit of testing and let's see how this rig operates. Okay, so in the background there, you can see I've just got a small little LED automotive bulb in there. So if you want to test anything that's DC, well, this here will power it up to 10 amps, which is terrific. And in this particular situation, I've got it set at 12.6 volts, and it's drawing a little more than 1/4 of an amp at that voltage, and it's 2.1 watts. And I like this unit because it's got a 5 volt, 2 amp USB port. And on this side is the amperage, on this side is the voltage, and you've got a coarse and a fine. So this is the fine adjustment, this is the coarse adjustment. And what I like to have is something that you can adjust both the power and the voltage. So when you're looking at the current on this side, now this here, you can see the lights. Let me just pull this little bit of a plastic. When you get something brand new, they have like this plastic on here. Yeah, you might get less reflection now. Okay, so this is constant voltage, and this is constant current. So, of course, you can adjust the voltage up and down. Now, I pegged it right at 12.6. So, if I wanted to, say, do a fine adjustment on the amperage, I could just bring it down, and eventually, it's not fine enough for me to bring that down because this will only adjust so much. But if I go on the coarse side, you're going to see that bulb drop real fast. There you go right there. Now you can see that I'm manipulating the constant current, right? But look at the voltage. We're way down on the voltage there, right? So now we're at 9 volts, but if you go back to the fine adjustment, you can see where I can manipulate the voltage in a finer adjustment going back up. And as you can see, the amperage has changed, the wattage has changed, and these numbers are pretty close. Don't expect to buy this unit at this price point for high-end electronic diagnostics or repair and this kind of. This is for a hobbyist. This is for somebody like me that just likes to make some, to resolve some problems that I see. I like to fool around with a lot of solar circuits, and when it comes down to it, this is just perfect for me. For a lot of people, if you're thinking about getting into a really nice hobby, well, this is the one right here where, anybody can do a little bit of reading, watching some videos is fantastic, and testing out your equipment. So, if you've got a bulb that's you suspect is not working, well, you can test it out, right? And if you're thinking about what kind of unit to buy, well, for most people starting off like I did many years ago, the 5 amp unit worked out fine for me. But now I need a little more amperage, so I went to this one here. And like I said before, the technology sure has changed. Well, thanks for joining me here today. This is just a quick overview of the new power supply that I bought, and you'll see that in action in the future coming up. Like I said, I put down some links below, so if you want some inspiration on some of the stuff that I built, you could build it yourself. And a lot of times, well, the stuff that I'm thinking about building, you can buy them off the shelf. But you're going to spend a lot of money doing it when electronics, for the most part, well, the components are pretty low cost, and you can save yourself a fortune by building it yourself. You learn a lot, you have some fun, and it's a great hobby. So come back again. If you haven't seen this channel before, you're welcome to subscribe and see some interesting things that I do every week. Cheers.